Well, the show's Chi Talks. Good morning to K-Mud family and friends. If everything's made of energy, then we have a lot to discuss. Let's get right into it. I'm going to read a quote here from the book authored by our guest today. Goes by Don Luis Canelas. The most significant reset is not global. It is individual. Systems tolerate abuse of power only when participation becomes passive. Corruption persists when responsibility is outsourced. When individuals disengage from awareness, coherence, and accountability, systems simply reflect that fragmentation at scale. This is why no external reform succeeds without internal reform. You cannot restrain power without disciplined citizens. You cannot balance authority without engaged participation. The global reset is not something being done to humanity. It's something humanity has postponed long enough to experience collectively. Lastly, a reset is not an ending. It is balance, returning after being ignored.
Oh, may it be so.
Thoughts on that, Tony?
Well, I mean, I think the internal change is necessary and mandatory for any external manifestation to happen. So, I think the foundation of chi is you invite it in, you don't source it, and as you invite it in from your into your being, then you begin to work with it begins to work on you from the inside, and as it works on you from the inside, it starts to emanate outwardly, and then now you're cooking with gas.
I want to bring in our guest today, the author of the book that I just read from, The Law of Balance, and I've been reading this, and I'm really excited to get into this. Here at Chi Talks, we talk about, because Tony and I are practitioners of Eastern modalities, Tai Chi, Qigong, Bagua, and there's the aspects of natural patterns that we try to embody to move through life and to help us move through life and through the cycles of life and living. And it seems like the law of balance helps to, I think, elucidate those patterns in a way that is, it's different. It's different, and it's a way of looking at things similar to that quote that I just read in terms of, in this context, the global reset. So I want to thank you, Mario, for coming in.
Yeah, it's great to be here. I mean, this is exciting. Let me get used to this.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
There we go. That's much better.
Yeah, pull in, just scoot in and huddle.
Come right into the center, right?
Yeah, that's right. I can bring the microphone closer to you, too.
Yeah, there we go.
There you go.
Yeah, all this fancy technology here, huh?
It's very fancy.
You guys do it right.
We've got video recording too.
Oh,
so,
excellent!
Yeah,
excellent.
We're going to share this with you.
I'm glad I brushed my teeth and combed my hair then. And
you look very slick.
Thank you. Yeah, the pomade does things, with the black hair. No. As it does for you, right? It keeps it in balance.
It keeps it curly for me. Yours it straightens, but mine is
a few turns on the dance floor, and it curls up. Not as much as yours, though, but
Cool. Oh, good to know that you spin.
Have you guys officially met?
Oh, yes. We've known each other for
he's a great guy. Yes.
It's a small town. I know we see each other all around, and I think we've been at some events as well together too.
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes. Correct.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited to have you guys here, and let's get into it.
We're all masters of our own demise here and spreading the energy to others, and that's what this book is about. It's about helping everyone become aware of the balance that is available to everybody in conquering ourselves, in finding and digging deep inside, and as we do so, explore things that we are not as comfortable with, right? We're not brought up to be comfortable with our checkbooks. our energy, our keeping track of our energy, where it's going, how to get it back to its source, rejuvenate. And that's what you guys are all about healing with whole foods, right? Food sovereignty, becoming, do we all need custodians to take care of us and manage us? And that's what it comes to. Does one want to be managed? And it's not about rebellion or anything like that. It's about conquering from within. We often, it's very easy, we're taught to, hey, go to a CPA, go have them do your accounting of your energy that you just expelled all year, right? So if we look at money, which is what we all depend on, right, to function, we go to Chautauqua, we buy some eggs, we have to give an exchange. So that exchange is our energy at the end of the day. Whether we use a gold coin, whether we use a piece of paper that has 2 signatures on it with some fancy coloring on it, it's irrelevant. We're exchanging energy. So when we comprehend that and comprehend our energy period, our whole world changes. And that's what this book is about. It's about, yes, the human race is in a pattern that's been repeating again and again because we're trying to find that balance of how to manage energy, managing billions and billions of beings on a macro, what we call Mother Earth, right? That's a big job. And food source and, etiquette and morals, and it's a big nut to crack. So there has to be management of the civilizations and different type of cultures, as well. So I really think the system we're in is beautiful. It's exciting because we're at that cusp where things have advanced so quickly that you can't really keep up. I mean, it's if you're in the technology, if you're a graphic designer, if you're building websites, I mean, it's crazy. AI just came in and changed the game for everybody. I mean, in great ways. So we need to endorse the strengths of it and realize its weaknesses and not let those magnify, right? So do we still force ourselves to read books with paper for our visual, our cognitive thinking, our frontal lobes to develop? Or are we using screens all the time that, penetrate into us versus outward? I mean, they are intrusive on the colors and on the electricity that's coming towards us, the energy. So little things that we do, such as you guys do with the practices, keep us in balance. So the other thing to balance is just our way of exchange in this system we're in. And the United States is a system. It's a corporation. It's beautiful. Is it American? Well, what is American, right? America is a continent. It's a mixing pot. So to be American, if you're here, you're American, right? South, North, Central. But a U.S. citizen is just that. It's an employee of a corporation. We're all part of that corporation, and it's beautiful. We got included. And there is a prepaid credit because everything's in debt. If you guys look at those bank notes we hand around, it says, for legal tender or debts, if anyone has one, but it's valid for debts, public and private. Okay, so that means just that, debts. So we're handing IOUs around off a bank account that was closed a long time ago with no endorsement. So we're all chasing that. But why? Well, we have to have a system. So if we are taught and spend the time to learn that system, then it'll work for us versus us work for it. And that's just it. Taxes are a beautiful thing. Taxes are energy. So tax return means to return energy. So if we do returns correctly or at all, we'll get our energy back. But if we don't and we don't learn, then we're subject to the ill will or the lack of doing, right? Lack of action. So like the Kriya, we gotta act. So the Shakti and the Shiva here is this material world and your knowing coming together, and then it's all structured. There's called the fiscal services, which is the side that deals with the crediting side. We'll just say the crediting side versus the debting side. So public and private, there's credit and debit. And the whole.
Let's break this down. Okay, so Shakti and Shiva. Let's talk about that for folks that don't know. And let's introduce what Shakti and Shiva is, and then talk about the debt and the crediting from that perspective. When you say Shakti and Shiva, that may mean something to Tony, because it's I think that's in his wheelhouse, not necessarily in my wheelhouse. So let me understand also when you say those words what we're saying.
Yeah. So the feminine and masculine coming together.
Okay.
The unionization of that breath. When we use the Pingala and the Ida and we're breathing and we're unionizing the polarities in our body and reaching that reverse polarity of energy. Because our bodies are, 40 plus trillion cells. Each cell has potential energy of 0.07 volts. So if you do the math, that's over 3.6 billion volts that we potentially can harness and release as great ones have done before us, and that's what I'm talking about.
And then this gives us a pretext for balance, then too, right? Okay.
Yes. So the balance, the coming to center, the Bindu,
individual balance. Okay, Bindu.
Yes.
You talk about that in the book.
Yes, and the Bindu is the beginning of creation and the end. It's the black hole. It's where everything starts.
Source.
Okay. That's how source reaches us. Are some in for example, the male's sperm is considered Bindu because it carries life. It's a source of life. So Bindu has a wide definition there, but its main purpose is the union, the balance, the left and right of your mind working together with the heart.
Okay.
And
lower center, upper center.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, where we all want to be, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's your martial arts to your way of life.
So in Tai Chi it's called Wu Ji.
Wu Ji.
The original source. So from Wu Ji, Tai Chi is the spiral energy that we see in nature, and it is nature's creative template, the spiral. And you talk about Fibonacci in the book here, and so the Tai Chi energy gives us the split and starts to give us 1 and 2 to 4 to 8, and then what's called the myriad of things, the 10,000 things. And this is where then we start to see the yin-yang symbol and this notion towards balance.
Amazing. Yeah, the vortexial math is just intriguing. That's how all the elements, they've rewritten the periodic table that way, to where it's all a vortexial math equation, the evolution of the atom and all the elements. It's just a whole new world.
So far, what I gathered from what you've said already is there's a kind of a sense of reframing, restructuring of the vernacular of finances, money, and how many moves through the person and community. And I think I'm totally down with that. Seeing that exchange being energetic and no more than that. And somehow, somewhat, the banknote did serve up to a certain purpose, and then kind of then became just in service to only few people. And I think that's where we kind of figured kind of same thing like it happened to the artist. The art was for the artist first, and then it slipped away from the artist, and it became to the production companies, and then the artist just became a figure of some sort, an employee of the production company. So in that sense, I've always thought that money was really emotional, because it really either brought you happiness or brought you sadness.
Yeah.
And energetically, it held you captive, because you want to do something and you don't have the money for it, or you have the money but you don't know what to do with it. I've been around people who had so much money and they were just flailing like a fish out of water. Had no idea what to do with it. And the back of my mind say I could use some of that, but really I've never felt lack personally. I've always felt like the world is stretched before me, and I've always got what I want, and I'm not one to think too much about my needs. And because I feel like everything that I'm about is internal, is generated internally. It's about embodying the vibration. It's about living fully, purposefully within and without. And I never thought that money had so much to contribute to that. Although, I would like to go to India and study for a while, so that would require a little bit of cash. And also go to China and study for a little bit, live at a Taoist monastery for a year or so. That would require some cash. So there is that paradigm that we're always juggling, trying to in and out of, But I think reframing it to start to restructure the way we see money, I think, is essential. And it's actually Jesus did that some 2,000 years ago. Just like, what the hell are you guys doing? But
beautiful insight, Tony. That's exactly it. From the songwriter to the production, you've nailed it. That's what's going on here. And the money actually is just resembling your energy and your value. And when you realize your value, which you have, it comes to you, like you said, as it is right now. We're in a new time where the balance, we're at the threshold where this rhythm going back and forth is trying to find its perfect balance, And I learned that in the Hermetic teachings, with the rhythm. Rhythm is the flux of the universe, right? It's how everything finds that adjustment. But there is that period of the pendulum where it's uncomfortable, where the growth needs to happen. And that's where we're at right now. And I know personally, I have studied a long time, since the 90s, to reach what I can comprehend now, and I could see behind the curtain and how things work. And that's what I like to bring to this community, is that knowing of how to manage that value going in and out of your hands. And the magic is right there. It returns back to you. And it's just simple changes of thinking, not your way of life, because we all use the money already. So it's just realizing what it really is and then how to control it better. So simple, just tax return changes, change in your status of how you're filing taxes. Are you getting a write-off or are you getting a credit? There's a big difference, So very simple things. And yes, this will bring energy back to source, but it's going to take it from others who have been trespassing on that energy a little bit. So that's the resistance we're having right now. But it's already happened in the spiritual world, and the physical's just behind right now. There's millions and millions of Americans that have already realized how to fix the accounting. It's correcting the records is what it is. Okay? And there's a lot of presumptions that just need to be corrected.
That's hopeful.
That's it.
I just want to interject here real quick. This is Chi Talks with Javi, Tony. Today we have Mario guesting, author of The Law of Balance. And let's talk about a little bit about how you got into this and what you've seen and what you're seeing and what compelled you to write this, and then also what you're offering in the community.
Yeah, Javi, you're so great. And thanks again for having me here. Tony, you always have great energy and insight. This is naturally right up everyone's alley here. So what got me into this? I've been a car guy most of my life, an entrepreneur. I ran body shops and valet companies and developed some properties and traveled. And, I've had a good life. And with this whole COVID, it really shook a lot of us up. Things were fine, and then boom, the whole thing got shaken. It's like, it makes us all think. And so I thought deeply, and with all the tools I had in my bag, I started reverse engineering. I started asking again, why? Why is this? Why is that? And it brought me to simple accounting is what this whole world's on, and the solutions that brings, and I was able to, through different research and development over the last 5 years, put this together. I've been doing UCC since the 90s, which is Uniform Commercial Code. It's what all of us have to rely on in the commercial realm, and we're all commercial. We're operating. We get in a car. We go to the store. We have a bank account. So all this is managed and regulated by the Uniform Commercial Code. So as a skateboarder, as a young guy, I always questioned things and tested, from handrails to concrete to different things, my teachers. And so with that, I figured out what really makes everything tick. And the tools are all right there for us. They just don't teach us. And who are they? They are us. This system was set up by us years ago, hundreds of years ago, and over 150 years since 1776, when they structured a unionized corporation here. It came with rules, and those rules constantly get upgraded and upgraded. And so we just need to be aware of those rules, and there's so many out there, like which ones to follow. And that's all just a distraction. So I've been able to find the center and been successful in getting other people to the center, and it's all about the journey within oneself. Because we have one way of thinking, and if you can change that way of thinking, then you're able to see more clearly and openly, because we've been indoctrinated to think a certain way. So if we detach ourselves from our ego, our material being, our name, we're able to see as a witness what's really going on. And that's what happened to me. I went through, I'm a widower of 5 years. My wife passed away during COVID. I became a single parent overnight. And so I had to make a life change of, do I want to continue going down a road of corporate America or raise my children? So that's what or not children, offspring. So that's part of my journey. I learned a lot about semantics and legalese and law and trust law, and because everything is built on trust and contract, and that's the basis of it. So one can go back 8,500 years and find details from the pharaohs, and that's how all this clock started. And you speak of Jesus, yes, Jesus, one of the masters of all, he reset us 2,026 years ago. That's why we're on the calendar. The zero is his birth, right? So the Christ consciousness concept. So it gets very esoteric, but it's very simple at the same time. It's about just simple changes, like we do with the practices, right? And persistence. And one finds themselves. So, and they could reach me or any one of my team at info@bindu.academy. Website is in process right now, but the email is working. So info@bindu.academy.
And you're currently offering some classes.
Yes. I do host classes Tuesday nights, every Tuesday. They're free right now from 6 to 8 p.m. and just informative and teaching people and any questions they may have, any experiences they have. Why is it? How do we handle this? Everything's about just communication and love. And once you comprehend what's really going on and just the accounting, it's very simple. You can move on and focus on other things that are more important. All these mortgages, all these car loans, all these things, they're already prepaid. And so when one comprehends that, one knows how to deal with that from an accounting perspective.
Break that down a little bit. So when you say they're already prepaid, what does that actually mean, and how do you translate that to an actualization?
Yeah. We're, like I said, those FRNs, those Federal Reserve notes, they're bank notes, and they are for a debt. So if we're paying a debt with a debt, what does that mean? We're going into debt. So the debt is how this system works. We're a country made of debt. And why is that? Because they replaced the gold with a value, and that value was our energy. Each one of us are born with energy, equal energy, right? So it's a beautiful system. We can't go off gold or silver. That was troublesome and heavy and stolen and hard to replace and unequal. So some families have more gold than others, so you're better off? Is that how it's supposed to be? No. So they came out with a beautiful system, the United States, that's off of debt. And every baby that's born with a certificate, they create an insurance bond that develops value on the stock market through their life. So you're paying for the person's value of their life ahead of time. You're doing a future IOU. So let's say the average life is 70 years. They actually do males at 75 and women at 72 years. That's our shelf lives, and they do a value off of that. They put $1 million after you were born in 1975. After that, your bond was worth $1 million. Believe it or not, the post office pays for it. They're the military. So we become military assets. That's why your mother's labeled an informant on the actual certificate. If you look at her name there, she signs as an informant. That's military.
The birth certificate.
Yeah. So, but it's a beautiful thing. So that develops value, and that's what they're printing the money off of, is anyone who's born. It's future money. So when you comprehend that and you comprehend tax returns, the CPAs will not teach you. They don't even know, because people over 150 years have altered things or just kept information from not being transparent. And that's not the United States that did that. The IRS actually works for us. They're our accountants. They're the in-house accountants for the United States corporation. So if we act as beneficiaries and as grantors, then we can dictate to them what's going on. What happens is they put us in as the trustee when it's convenient, so we're reliable for that trust that they set up. So you go to court, you get a ticket, whatever you sign, you're signing as a trustee who's liable. So it's very simple to fix and correct. And it's called a power of an attorney. And you file it correctly, and you're able to protect yourself from any trespassers on your ship. So we do live in a world of positive, negative energy, and that's real. That's to build us, to make the diamond, right? So tools that we aren't taught in normal school can be taught, and that's what I do. I teach the youth, and I teach anyone who's willing to learn other tools that are available to bring balance.
So I have a car. Let's say I want a little bit more of a hard example.
Sure.
I have a car that I still owe, let's say, $10,000 on. And I am signed off as a trustee of that loan. And how does the power of attorney work in that context in order to flip the script?
Sure. So you just said it. You are liable as trustee for a debt of $10,000 on a car. Well, why are you liable? Because you're trustee. Now, where did the money come from originally? How did you get that car? Did you go in the office and sign an application?
Let's just say yes.
Okay, so that application, that turns into a security instrument. Mm-hmm. It turns into a letter of credit. So they hypothecate that application. Your signature is what gave value. Why? Because your signature is that of the surety. Your surety is your all caps name that they made, the corporate vessel they made to operate in commerce. So each birth certificate represents, your name's all capitalized. Regardless of that, what that is a SPV, a special purpose vehicle. It's a special type of LLC corporation that's limited liability, that functions as a transmitting utility in commerce. So it's something that you need to detach yourself from and realize it's just an empty shell. What fills it is your signature. And your signature is the grantor side or the trustee side, because they call it the straw man, right? It's a corporation. It's a corporate entity. So if you learn how to sign with the correct capacity for that, you are not liable because it's coming from you already. The credit came from your signature. That signature gets processed through the TTL system, which is the tax termination loan system, to the Treasury of the United States. That money that was put in at your birth with that birth certificate, that principal develops interest until you're 18 years old. And then no one ever shared with you guys at 18 that you need to go claim your minor estate. Okay? It's called a minor estate. And this could all be verified online. They even tell you how to do it. If you go to CFRs, which are Civil Federal Rules, eCFRs online, just look it up and go to 363. Right there, it shows you how. Now, your normal person who's never done this before and law, and it's going to be confusing. But this is called procurement. This is how they do it. They have to create a system where bills and credits go back and forth all day. The whole world accounts to a zero. It closes at zero every night. Okay, everything goes to zero. Every batch report at every credit card machine, every gas station, goes to zero. So the question is, how do you want it to end up on that zero? And it's all paperwork. It's just paperwork. Just paperwork. And so for that car loan, we would just correct who is who and then send a notice of the accounting paperwork that needs to close that account and balance it out. Okay? And there's many different forms in H8 and H9. These are for real estate transactions, for rescission of certain contracts. But pretty much everything gets hypothecated into a bond and then released back on the market as currency. So your signature after a few status updates, you would be able to take their bill, sign the back, and send it back, and the Treasury would pay it directly, to answer your question.
So the Treasury will pay my
That's your
loan?
bank. That's really where your bank is. The county and the state, they act as your brokers. And so you don't even get the interest because they're blocking the energy from coming back to source.
I see. Well, I'm a legal citizen, so I wasn't born here, so I don't know how much money I've got in my bank as an immigrant.
No, you bring that up. You're attached. You're just at another stock trading. That's all. Everyone has a birth certificate. Mm-hmm. Every country set up the same way. It may look different, but they're all operated by the same mother company, the UPU, United Postal Union.
Let me just break in here. 9:35 here, KMUD. Chi Talks here with Javi and Tony. And today we have Mario, author of Law and the Law of Balance. You just talked about minor estate. Did a quick search. To claim a minor's estate, a guardian of the estate, parentheses, like a parent or appointed adult, must be court appointed by filing petitions, consents, and financial documents in probate court, proving they can manage the minor's assets, inheritance, lawsuit funds until the minor turns 18, involving court approval for actions and annual accounts to protect the child's financial interests. And then offers a video explaining more. So
yeah, and then if you go onto the CFR website and look up minor, like I'm telling you, go to I think it's section 363, the definition of minor account under the CFR will also include anyone who has not claimed their minor estate. It says it right there. It says the same definition you said, but it also says someone who is a minor if they have not also declared or claimed their minor estate.
So a lot of times when I talk with Mario, there's all these terms and words that, I just don't know what he's meaning and what he's saying. It's hard to understand, the concept. And I know he understands it and he's trying to explain it to me. And when I hear him talk, each time it gets a little better because he continues to use the same same terminology. I wonder if when we talk about Tai Chi, Qigong, Wuji and internal things, is like, what are these guys talking about? Do people have this same reaction out there? You know what I mean?
Totally. Well, there's the vernacular. The vernacular holds key to the actual sanctuary of what you're trying to present. But I gotta say, there's something really incredibly hypnotic to talk about money in a way that is just feels like mystical and mysterious, and there's I get the sense that there is something that can be done to be financially free. So
sovereignty.
So
you talk about that in the book, the sovereignty, and we can get to the sovereignty audit. Because that's in the book, but we do have 2 callers, so let's get to them. Go ahead, caller. How are you doing this morning? What's your name and what's your question?
That me?
That's you. Good morning.
Oh, my bad. So first of all, I don't know. I mean, I have a limited scope of economics, but it kind of, I don't know. It doesn't really sound. All you're saying doesn't really sound entirely economically sound to me. So I hope somebody with more of an economics background could call in about that. However, the question I really had, you mentioned that thing about setting intention with money in every purchase you make. How do you factor in, for instance, the government taking a tax on, a simple tax on pretty much anything you buy, and then sort of how that might affect that sort of energy transfer, since some of that money might go towards, killing innocent civilians or doing all sorts of things?
Thank you for the question.
Yeah, I'll take my answer off the air.
Well, thank you. So we have to look at what tax is. So tax comes from the days of the medieval times and before, but let's go to medieval times. The tax was a requirement to pay for the chivalry, for the knights, to protect the value of the gold or the money in circulation. So that way you had a coin of the king, it had value because they protected it. To have so the tax was just supposed to be payment for the military, to support the military. And so when we get taxed on using anything in the U.S. corporation, it's valid and legit. We're using their system. They put it together. They developed it over the hundreds of years. Their tactics. Who are they? They are us. We're all humans, and we all have different thinking at different times. And our job is to develop that better and better, I think. And we develop our worlds as such. So all this money is all energy of ours, and there's so many. It's going so many different ways. So I don't focus or tune in on what they're doing overseas with this or that. The media is very good at making propagandas, and I've traveled and I have been there when they say it's exploding around me, and I'm in the Four Seasons and it's nice and quiet and calm. We're talking in the Middle East and stuff. So propaganda is propaganda. And what we want to focus on, we will draw in. Our brain is a radio frequency transmitter, and we have to choose what frequencies we want to take in. But as far as the economics on this, it's a debt system, so it's already built to be out of balance unless it's transparent. We all have plenty of energy to share. It's, I think, when people want to conquer the other or become more is where we have the issue. And that's self-growth. So there will always be growth, and that's how we develop further and further. That's why the pi 3.14 is such a beautiful number. It's not duplicating, it's modifying and growing. So one's to duplicate, another thing's to grow. And I didn't develop the system. The system is actually a combination of Hebrew, of English, of Italian. I mean, the Italians are the one who ran, that's the Vatican. They're the ones who control it all, if you guys want to know. But it's set up beautifully where we can get into the accounting and level things out and create our own money. 1099s are a beautiful thing. 1099A, that'll bring your economics back to a zero if you like. You have the W-4 on one side and you have the 1099 on the other. So it's all about forms and accounting and a T account. So
will you do my taxes this year, please?
Yeah. No, we do tax returns like $250.
Okay, beautiful.
Yeah, so that's where info@bindu.academy. And, no one's made the Secretary of the Treasury their fiduciary agent. One form, which is a 56, issuing that to him makes him the trustee, makes him liable. No one's done that. Right now, you guys are the trustee because you're filing your taxes as a trustee. File them as the king or queen, as the executor, executrix.
So how are we to understand that, and so that, well, let's say I want to write this down and put it on my to-do list. How do I write that down? What am I saying
email
to myself?
to info@bindu.academy for more information.
That's BINDU?
Yes, BINDU. Thank you. And classes are every Tuesday, 6 to 8 on Zoom. You get an invite. You you just register a fake name, I don't care, whatever, and you can come on and learn. We talk about different things. And it's the foundation of where we come from is what people need to comprehend, and then you could figure out how to build on it again. But everyone's in a beautiful space right now, and it's only just about finding out more. It's not about breaking anything down, just building right now.
You said something about the media can propagandize us, and I can see the legitimacy of that caller's question in terms of like the taxes are being taken from us and they're being used, for the military, and people say the military industrial complex, and they're doing all these things with our taxes, and how do we find a way to garner that sovereignty of our money and what is being taken from us? Does that play into the sovereignty audit that you talk about in the book, and then what else encompasses that sovereignty audit?
Yeah. Well, the first step is realizing who we are by taking the time to read, study, and be around that. The next thing is to, once you realize that, do the simple steps, which you'll learn by researching. And I've already done years of research, and I've been built up by other people who have done years of research. So it's just beautiful. It's a beautiful system, and it's developed to make you earn and look for it and work for it.
So where does the idea of ownership fit in all of this?
We want to own nothing but control everything. That's the idea, and that's what Rockefeller and Rothschild and all that do, is they get to enjoy everything without the worries of managing it. And so we manage ourselves and take care of yourselves, and then everything outside will develop off of that. Can you take a home with you when you pass this world and transform into energy again? No. So why are we fixated on that? And what that does is have us drive towards money the way we do. Yeah, we need a roof over our head and food and want to live comfortably and drive a Tesla and all. That's all beautiful. And that's all accessible. We just got to change our way of thinking that none of this can go with us. It's all about the now, and we're enjoying it right now, right? And that's what it's about. And loving each other, and with that, we'll have less friction going on. We're competing. That's why we're competing. Instead of competing, we just build each other and give.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm with you on that. That's been totally my vision ever since the beginning. But I feel like originally this is the kind of way of thinking that got us into this pickle. For example, like for musicians, they love what they do. They go out and they play for the success, and they play for the energy that's coming from the audience, and then that was basically capitalized on to where a musician now becomes owing so much more money to the companies and live in debt for the companies that have put them out there, and that joy and the love and the presence in that vibration has been just literally just obliterated. So in some case, it's like such a double-edged sword. You live with your passion, you live with your love, yet at the same time that is kind of you've been positioned to be taken advantage of. So
yeah, so we fix that by becoming aware. becoming aware, tune into my classes, order the book. In the back of this book, the very last, it's like the extra chapter in the back. That's a novation. That's 30 plus years of hard research just in those few pages of information. And it goes through a novation that you send off. I sent this off to 20 of our military leaders, and it pretty much renegates your contract with them, establishing you as the heir of your estate. And it's a journey from within is what I have to say. But to prevent the artist from losing that passion, losing that vibrant rate that he built up to build, we must protect ourselves from other frequencies draining that. And that's what this is about on the accounting. If we're constantly chasing our tails and working hard to provide for just that daily bread, it's hard to develop your dreams further. So life was not intended for that. And so we're all kind of captive of some ill thinking of some others. So in order to break that, we have to rise a little bit and become aware. Once we're aware, they have no more power at all. And who are they? Just other versions of us. So paperwork is the easiest thing to do, but it's hard when someone doesn't come to the table to do it.
Right. Well, it requires a lot of knowledge. I mean, what you're bringing out, you're lifting the curtain off of all of these things right now that I absolutely had no clue. And then as Javi shakes his head, it looks like he also has no clue about this.
My dad at 82, no clue.
Let's go to a caller and see if they have a clue and what their question is.
Well, you mentioned being able to look through people's tax returns and helping people. What kind of a background in accounting?
Lost you there.
We lost you.
You cut off there, caller. All right. Hello?
You dropped off, but you're like very faint. You still there?
Oh, hello?
Yeah, sorry, we lost you.
About that.
Go ahead.
I'll ask my question one more time. You mentioned basically having a service of looking at people's tax returns and helping them with that. What is your background in accounting, and do you have any formal education in accounting?
Absolutely. So,
Thank you.
Yeah, 7 years San Diego State, finance, marketing, accounting major. Worked for Merrill Lynch 4 years, 1994, 1999, and managed and operated several businesses, doing millions of dollars a year in the automotive industry, hundreds of employees, trust law, contracts. I've been in the courtroom probably over 1,000 hours. I've done taxes for over like 1,500 clients over the last 5 years. Let's see. Whatever else you need, you can come and find out. And what I do is I have people sign a non-disclosure agreement. I give them a free consultation for about an hour, figure out what their needs are, where they're at, and try to direct them as best as possible down a road of success to achieve simple steps. And, because comprehending debt versus value, this is all strange, and I'm 49. It took me a while. And there's a lot of doubts that come, oh, I've been lied to, this, that. No, there's no anger. Once you get anger in the way, then you don't see anything. But this whole time, I thought hiding income and this and that was what it's all about, and it's not. The more income you declare, the more you can have returned. And I just urge people to go look up what the fiscal services is. Go on YouTube. There's a 6-minute video. It talks about trillions of dollars coming back to Americans. American state nationals and nationals are real. There's millions of them. Every judge, every attorney, they all have double identities. They have to be nationals in order to serve in their capacity that they do as trustees for a public trust. Okay? All the governors, all the Congress, they're all nationals. That's why the passport has 2 options there. It's very simple.
Let me interject here. This is Chi Talks with Javi, Tony, and we have Mario here today. I'm going to read this quote here from the book, and then we'll go to the caller, and we'll close it out from there. In Chapter 6, you finish the chapter saying, the next economy won't be built by institutions rejecting the old system, nor by individuals hiding from it. It will be built by those who comprehend the commercial rules well enough to create something new, something that actually serves life rather than extracts from it. The tools are already there in the UCC and commercial law. The question is whether we'll use them. Let's go to the caller.
Are already there in the UCC and commercial law.
That's me. Caller, if you could turn your radio off or turn it down and ask your question.
Is that I?
That's you.
Very good. So I have simple questions.
Sure.
So the the address of the email is info at Bindu and something about Academy.
.academy.
So it's the info. The at is after info.
Yes, so it's info at bindu.academy. There is no .com. It's .academy.
Okay, .academy.
Yeah, they came up with a new one.
Is where do you meet on Tuesday?
We do online with the Zoom, so from the comfort of your own home.
Okay, and so online I go to.
So you
I
would
have to find that.
Yeah.
What's the address to that one?
Yeah, I apologize. You would email, just inquire of interest, what your interests are, and then we can send you a link to register and log in for the class every Tuesday night.
Very good.
Yeah.
And the name of the book?
The name of the book is The Law of Balance.
The Law
of Balance.
Balance.
Yeah, and it's an easy read. You know,
Okay.
I wrote
Good.
it to make it easy to comprehend.
Go ahead.
Yeah. And again, all this is for educational purposes only.
Yeah,
It's
I
not,
understand.
Yeah, not legal advice. And, you
Okay.
know, but yes, the UCC, as we were talking about, that is the answer to give everyone access to the commercial registry. You guys have not been taught how to become lien holders, how to claim those receipts you have in your pockets. Those receipts make you an entitlement holder. They make you the one who needs to be balanced out. So the holder of the receipt closes the account, and that's why I'm so frugal with my receipts, is those receipts are the value that what you just exchanged, that $100 bill and that receipt that you get from the gas station printed out, they have the same value. They're both debt instruments. They're both security instruments.
Aha! I thought that was just talking about the thing, but that's in real life. Real life and receipts need to be put in a folder or a box.
Oh yeah. If we got
Okay.
1 minute for a quick story.
You need to say that 5 times so that people that just joined in can hear that.
Thanks so much. Thanks so much, caller.
Thank you. Okay.
Yeah, go ahead. Tell your story.
So yesterday I was on a walk here in Redway, and this gentleman had 2 puppies, and he walks up and he asked me about my license plates, because I do have custom private copyrighted license plates because my stuff's in a special trust. So anyway, we start talking, and he talks about when the Garberville courthouse was taken out of here, and a lot of people experienced getting these notices and fines for fees they never paid and got sucked up to the Eureka courthouse. And he showed up, and he had a fine in the past for like $300-something, paid it, kept the receipt. And so he's getting summoned to court, Eureka. This is 7 years later for a fine that they say he never paid. And he goes up there with his receipt. And the judge, after hearing them all out, he shows the judge the receipt, and the judge says, I got to get an honest job. He dismisses the guy's case and the other 20 people in the room, their cases after, because of that one receipt. So that is the value of the receipt. It's right in front of our faces. We just need to comprehend what's going on. And it's simple stuff once you clear the mind of all the indoctrination. Oh, taxes are bad, this, that. No, that receipt is everything. And that receipt needs to go to the fiscal services, okay, with the IRS being told what to do. No one's updated or corrected your status correctly. It's just forms with the IRS, then they start working for you. If you start acting as the beneficiary, not the trustee, because you are the beneficiary. If you don't claim beneficiary, guess who does? The U.S. Corp. Okay? So...
claim beneficiary.
Yes. Claim, be the surety.
You know, almost if I did not know you, Marty, I think you're working for the IRS. I think they're paying you a lot to make us fall in love with tax returns and well, everything else. Which is, honestly, I always thought that I was a partner with the government. I mean, you know, I give them my money. They keep the place clean. They fix the roads. You know, a lot of stuff. And I always thought, you know, partnership with the government, that's taxes. You know.
Yeah, but it's beautiful. We need to manage things. We want the roads clean. We want people responsible. Absolutely. We just have people with incorrect thinking in charge. We need correct thinking in charge because the system's beautiful. And it can make that much more value to everybody and to the owners of the system if it's ran efficiently and correctly and transparent and people are taught correctly. Mm-hmm. Because we are the owners. The U.S. citizens are the ones who own the debt the most. You have Japan, who's number one internationally, then China, then Australia is right behind that, I think. But the U.S. citizens are the holders of all the stock, majority.
Well, we are out of time, guys. We got to close it off here. I want to thank you guys for coming in and really appreciate driving down, coming in, and giving your time and energy. We know how valuable that is. Claim beneficiary out there, folks. TonyCalifeMusic.com. Where are you playing next?
Where am I playing next? Eureka Natural on the Saturday the 30th. But I'm also doing my Bagua class. Next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday.
At 10:30 at the Dharma Center.
At the Dharma Center. Yes. TalkingQi@gmail.com if you want to reach us. TalkingQi@gmail.com. And your...
Bindu.academy. So info@bindu.academy.
Thank you again, folks. Thank you, K-Mud, family and friends. Remember to embrace the woo, and until next time, may your chi flow smoothly.